Welcome to week 2 of the semester. I trust you had a lovely break over the long weekend. For those of you who are celebrating Easter, I hope you considered it a spiritual experience. All right, so whenever I have a new week or a new, I'll call it a new section, I'll always go over the previous work that I concluded with, right? And I'll inform you of where we were, where we are, and where we are going to. Now, over the weekend, I spent my time going over some online courses that I'd like you to work on and obtain a qualification. When I say a qualification, a certification, right? But more of that a little later. But for now, I want to take the key terms that's on the screen at this moment in time from chapter 1, the PowerPoint slide that I presented to you on Wednesday. I'll go over those terms. I'll take the PowerPoint for this week or today. And I'll also introduce you to Moodle, right? I created the Moodle classroom and I'll share the Moodle screen with you. Okay, so let's go over some key terms. The first term is accounting and finance. Now, all of you are accounting students. What is accounting? What is finance? It's a business area of business that is responsible for recording data about transactions, sales, raw materials, purchases, payroll, and the receipt of cash from customers. You are postgraduate students. This is merely a revision for you. Why we need to know about accounting and finances? Because in this course, we're talking about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, Enterprise Systems, and Enterprise Systems encompasses accounting and financial concepts. The business function. A business function is any business activity within the functional area of operation. What's a business process? A business process is a collection of activities that takes one or more kinds of input and creates an output that is of value to a customer. Creating the output might involve activities from different functional areas. Now, any business process, the main aim of the business is to make a profit. And now we come to the core concept of this course, the Enterprise Resource Planning System. This system helps a company to manage the business processes such as marketing, production, purchasing, and accounting in an integrated way. Now, that's the important concept out here. It's integrated. We are no longer working in silos. I think I mentioned that to you last week in the PowerPoint presentation. We are working as an integrated unit. ERP does this by recording all transactions in a common database that is used by information systems throughout the company and by providing shared management reporting tools. Now, that's another important concept of this course. What reporting tools would we be using? I did some reading and prep over the weekend, and one of the important reporting tools is an exception report. So a report would be generated by an ERP system when there is an exception that takes place. Let's say, for instance, if this was an inventory system and the system ensured that we had enough paper. That was the example that Dr. Moodle had used last week. And let's say the number of reams of paper has fallen to below 10 reams. So immediately an exception report will suggest that, hey, we need to go and purchase paper because the number of reams has decreased by or beats below 10. Functional areas of operation. It's a broad categorization of business activities, including marketing, sales, production, and accounting. And believe it or not, I was preparing for this lecture, and they even now include social media as part of a functional area of operation. I didn't think that social media would be out there, but it is. HR, the human resources factor, a functional area of business that manages recruiting, training, evaluating, and compensating employees. I think last week I spoke to you about a HR site or a recruitment site, pnet.co.za. Mr. Naya, have you logged in? Have you received any employment opportunities from the pnet site?
Yes, I have, sir. Quite a few, actually.
Oh, great. And have you applied for it, Mr. Naya?
Yes, I have.
Great, great. Give us some good news. Tell us if you, when you get the job, okay? Please keep us informed. Right, let's go to this thing called the information. Sorry, Mr. Naya?
I said fingers crossed on that.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes, right? Fingers crossed. Right, information system. And now this is the department that I'm in. I'm in the Department of Information Systems within the Faculty of Accounting. And we are talking about people, procedures, software, and computers that store, organize, and deliver information. Now, can you see how an ERP system fits into the concept of an IS department? Integrated information system, an information system that allows for the sharing of common data throughout an organization. ERP systems are integrated systems because all operational data is located in a central database where they can be accessed by the users throughout an organization. Now, I gave you an example of an integrated database last week, the WebTrader, Standard Bank WebTrader site. And I hope at least one of you would go and access it and hopefully tell us about your trading experiences, be it Forex or whatever. All right. By the way, I'm considering that to be an assessment, and I'm just going to word the assessment. I'd like you to, number one, log into WebTrader. Then I'd like you to go and buy and sell shares. All of us start with 100,000 as principal capital. And I'm going to stipulate a deadline. Maybe I'll state at the end of April or the middle of April or the first week of May. And whatever your value is, so let's say you were at 100,000 and after buying and selling shares, you made 110,000. I'm going to consider that as a percentage towards an assessment mark. I don't expect you to make a loss, but if that is so, then, well, I'll cross that bridge when we come to it, right? But the important point is, I would like you to experience working with it's basically a database, an online share system, and play around with it, okay? And I know if I don't give marks for students, then they don't seem to do it. That's been my my experience. All right. So here we go. We talking. I admitted somebody into there. Yeah, great. All right. So let's go on. We're talking integrated information system. The integrated information system that I want you to play around is WebTrader. And there are others available. We will play around with it. Marketing sales, the functional area of a business that is responsible for developing the product, determining the pricing, promoting the products to the customer, taking the customer's orders, and creating the sales forecast. In today's PowerPoint presentation, I'll touch on marketing and sales. Raw data, data on sales, manufacturing, and other operations that have not been analyzed or manipulated for presentation. Safety stock, extra raw material and packaging kept available to help avoid stockouts. Now, while I was preparing for this lecture, they were talking about safety stock, and at present, there's a new marketing, or I call it just-in-time stock. So stock is not kept on the premises. If and when they need it, it is brought into the production line. So let's say, for example, we are manufacturing motor vehicles, and we know that, let's just say 10 motor vehicles come out per day. So we need to have 40 tires available. So if I had to consider it as safety stock, then I would need to ensure that the day before there's 40 tires available, because 10 cars the following day is going to require 4 tires each. That's 10 cars, 10 times 4 is 40. Now, if this was a just-in-time production, then I would only keep the tires, or have the tires available the day of production. So if today I was completing 10 cars, then today the truck would bring in 40 tires and it would be installed on the motor vehicle. So that's the difference between safety stock and just-in-time. We're looking at sales forecast, an estimate of future product demand, which is the amount of a product customers will want to buy. Now, this is the golden thing. We can forecast what's going to happen in a couple of months' time or whatever. We can make a prediction, then we would be very rich. I'll give you an example of what we are using right now. Microsoft Teams. Last year, at the beginning of the pandemic, the lockdown, the Microsoft Teams server crashed because it could not handle the demand. Well, Microsoft went and updated the server and the software and you name it. But one of the outcomes from that was they did not expect Microsoft Teams to take off in the way it did. They said the growth that they'd seen in 6 months was growth that they would have predicted to have taken place over the next 2 to 3 years. Can you see what I mean by a forecast? It was dependent upon the demand of the customer. Stock out, a manufacturing shortfall that occurs when raw materials or packaging runs out. Supply chain management, a functional area that includes developing production plans, ordering and receiving raw materials, manufacturing products, maintaining facilities, and shipping the products. So when you are looking at the PowerPoint for chapter 1, these are the important concepts that you would need to go through. All right, the key terms. Now, I haven't decided how we're going to have the assessment, whether it's going to be a simple case of multiple choice questions, paragraph type questions, or essay type questions. But if there has to be multiple choice questions, which I tend to use for, it's online assessment, and that's one of the easiest ways to assess a student, then I guarantee key term from chapter 1 will appear in your multiple choice questions. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye to the key terms from chapter 1. Tomorrow I'll cover the key term from chapter 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through to our PowerPoint presentation for today. Let me take my PowerPoint presentation, and it's going to be, it should appear on the screen. By the way, I keep 2 laptops available so I can see what's going on in the background with you guys as well. All right. So hopefully you will be able to see my screen, and the screen that's going to appear is Enterprise Systems. Great. So let's view it from beginning, slideshow from the beginning. Okay, so like I mentioned, this course deals with enterprise systems, ERP, enterprise resource planning. So let's go. You're going to get a little bored of this definition because I will be repeating it over and over and over. Every week, I'll start the week, I'll talk to you about an ERP system. And an ERP system is a comprehensive software package that incorporates all the modules needed to run the operations of a business. It includes manufacturing, accounting, human resources, sales, and purchasing. The 5 phases of the ES evolution: materials requirement planning, manufacturing resource planning, enterprise resource planning, and a second generation of enterprise resource planning, and a third generation of ERP. Now, I'm not going to ask you in terms of list and label this or define it. I'm still working on how we're going to assess you in this module. But in the example of a case study, you will need to cover or explain to me that you at least have a basic understanding of one of the phases or how it would tie in with an actual case study. All right, let's go to the materials requirements planning. This is an information system that plans production and raw materials for future periods. It forms the base of most ERP systems. So like I gave you an example earlier on regarding motor vehicle production, if I'm using the just-in-time production for a motor vehicle and there's 10 motor vehicles being assembled and they roll off the assembly line, the final stage is to ensure that I am putting on the tires or the mag wheels. That needs to be part of the materials requirements planning. Now, if I am a motor vehicle company like, let's say, Toyota, I'm not going to be manufacturing tires. I'm going to probably be getting the tires from Dunlop or Pirelli or somewhere out there, right? So that will be the material, the raw materials for the final stage of the assembly of the motor vehicle. Right, so what's the production schedule? The production schedule, I gave you a simple example that I'm talking about. If it was car assembly, at the end of one day, I'm going to have 10 cars being assembled. All 10 vehicles will require tires. Tires are being sourced from the Dunlop factory. The supply needs lead times and finished products schedule raw material purchases. Now let's talk about this thing about a lead time and what could possibly happen if there is a delay in the system. So if any of you are following the news, there was a container ship that blocked the Suez Canal. Because there was this traffic jam of ships, believe it or not, it affected the price of oil because there wasn't production taking place. There's no raw material in terms of oil going through the Suez Canal. Because of that, they weren't able to have production of petroleum, so forth and so forth and so forth, right? So can you see what happens if you don't have a proper schedule in place, or if you don't have buffer time to ensure that we are able to meet production and production demand? So this was just an example that hopefully if you watch the news, you'll figure out that that's what's happening. Another thing that would happen that would affect us, tomorrow the price of petrol is going to increase. And believe it or not, they mentioned that this blockage that took place at the Suez Canal delayed the production of and the import of oil and all that works with it, that's what influencing our price in South Africa to increase. Why I'm mentioning this to you is I'm taking everyday examples to bring you into the picture of this is what happens where production has to occur, but because there's a delay in the raw materials, we are unable to have a final product, which is in our case petrol. Right. What are some of the modules in terms of the ERPs? We have accounting, logistics, materials management, sales and distribution. Oh, and like I said, this is such a new thing to me. They are actually including social media as part of the marketing strategies in an ERP module. Right. There's the ERP2 front-end office. Activities include the employees, business partners, and the general public. What connections occur outside of the enterprise? Now, this is from the SAP University Alliance. That's why you are going to see SAP ERP next to that. Right? I'll talk to you about the vendors. There's another journal article, Wood 2020, SAP Jam Drive Results with Social Collaboration. I'm going to try and find that journal article and hopefully we'll include that as part of our resources. The top 5 ERP vendors. SAP, that was the PeopleSoft and Oracle, right? I think I have it out here. SAP, Oracle, Sage Group, Microsoft Business Solutions. Under SAP, you got SAP ERP, SAP Business Suites, Oracle, JD Edwards, Pascal ERP. I'm not sure if any of you had done Pascal accounting in your undergraduate studies. A quick question out there, anyone? Pascal accounting?
I think we did it for a semester.
Well, a semester. Oh, okay, great. All right. Right. So there's a lovely, I'll call it a slide with all of them, all the little ERPs, Oracle, PeopleSoft, Microsoft Dynamics, Sage, SysPro, SAP ERP, SAP Business One. Now, I've actually accessed the SAP website, learninghub.sap.com. I'm going to take you through that. And I would really love it if you can also register on the SAP Learning Hub website, because I want this course not to just be a theoretical course. I'd like for you to come out with a skill or a certification. Last week, I spoke to you about the IBM Academy. Today, I'm talking to you about the SAP Learning Hub. I'm going to take you through to that in the next few minutes. All right, we'll go through the marketing strategies. We'll talk about this. There's the social integration, mobile integration, cloud computing. Oh, I like that word. Implementing ERP solution. So in your case study for your assessment, we will be talking about implementing an ERP solution. You need to specify what are the requirements of the business. There'll be a design phase taking place. We'll build and test the system. We'll deploy the system. We'll put it into operation. We'll go and optimize it. And ultimately, it'll continue in the cyclic manner. Right? Keep this in mind for future lectures. The 4 levels are organizational data, your master data, your transactional data, and your reporting data. This is the enterprise system. Your enterprise system data levels. I gave you an example of an exceptional report. Or let's say, for instance, a report that indicates that the business is doing very well, our profits are through the roof. Or we could have a situation where We're generating a report, let's say at the university, Durban University of Technology, and we are stating that we haven't met our enrollment figures for 2021. What are some of the strategies that we are going to implement in order to ensure that our enrollment figures increase? A typical strategy that they are employing as we speak. Today it is happening. DUT is allowing walk-ins. I drove past DUT this morning next to Steve Biko campus. There was a long line of students. No social distancing, no masks. But a message went out that DUT was offering a place for walk-ins, and here we had a long queue of students wanting to come in. So in terms of, let's look at that example with the enterprise system. The organizational data states that registration was very slow. But over the last couple of weeks, whatever the reasons were, students weren't registering for the course. We generated an exceptional report, or a report in general, that said, as of the 1st of April, 100 students registered for the course. As at the end of first week of April, the 5th or the 6th of April, there were only 120. We need to make a target of 150 to 180. What are we going to do? Now, I'd love to show you SAP. I'm going to try today, I'm going to DUT to try and access SAP. Had we been on campus, I would have taken you into the lab where we would have accessed. We do have Oracle in the IT department. And unfortunately, I don't know how I'm going to do it with us working remotely. I'm going to try and access a virtual server where I'll give you a login, username and login, and hopefully you'll be able to access it from home. All right. But there's the organizational schematic representation of SAP and its data elements. Some of the key terminology I'd like you to go through. Client. A client is a self-contained unit in a SAP system with separate master records and its own set of tables. Company code, plant, storage location, shipping point. This all will make a little bit more sense when you deal with a SAP module. Right, so I'm going to end the slideshow. I'll present this to you and I'll upload it to Microsoft Teams and the Moodle classroom. What I'd like to do now is to take you through to our Moodle site. Right, let's go to our Moodle site. I want to show you our Moodle classroom. Let's see if I can take you there. And close that. Save that. Let's close that. Do I have lots opened? So let me go to my Moodle site. Let's take you, let me go completely out of it. Right, so in order to access the Moodle site, I'm just going to log out. You will need to go to tlz.pro.dut.ac.za. tlzprop.dut.ac.za. Click on the OpenID Connect. Click on OpenID. And I'd like you to access Information Technology, INTE 801. Now, I've been a lecturer for a good couple of years, and I noticed that if you don't award students marks, then they are not going to access the site. So what I'm going to do is, one of your assessments would be, you would need to access the Moodle classroom, and I am going to award you marks. If I see that students are not accessing the Moodle classroom, then, well, for one, I won't give you marks and I won't bother to upload any resources on it. All right, so let me just show you what I've done so far. I've just had a greeting out here. I put in a greeting. Welcome to our Moodle classroom. I'd like you, let's go and put a reply in there. Let's say, please post a welcome message. Tell me something about yourself. What do you aim to achieve in this course? Right. So I'm going to post this. So depending on your replies, depending on your activity in this course, I will obviously award you a mark towards your course mark. Right. Let's see if there's anybody that accessed this site. Let's see if anyone has accessed the site. In order to do that, I need to go to the site and let's see how many students have accessed the site. Let's go there. And ITE. Let's go and have a look at the courses, users. There we go. Let's see. Oh, there's all the students out here. Let's see. Tarishka Jagannath is there. All right. Where does it show me the activity? Let's look at the activity. There's 27 participants. I want to see the. Well, I don't think any of you would have accessed the site because it was only created this morning. But for now, I would like to see the activity of students. Where do I see the activity of students? There we go, users. Let's see the enrolled users. Ah, Clinton Nair. You last accessed this course 1 minute 51 seconds ago. Oh, this is cool. Cornelia Mbambo. Nkosi, great. Oh, I accessed the course 31 seconds ago. Sibusiso Hadebe, 58 minutes 24 seconds ago. Siyabonga Simalani, 2 minutes 9 seconds ago. Oh, that's excellent. Well, I'm assuming you are accessing it as I'm talking to you right now. People like Taddy Kokoto never accessed this. Tarishka Jagannath never accessed this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post this in our Microsoft Teams chat, and I'd like you to access this course. So please tell them that I'm monitoring the Moodle classroom, and I notice that the students haven't accessed the course. Right, I would like you all to access the course. So I post that. Alrighty. Right. So for today's, what's my time? How am I doing? Oh, great, 40 minutes. So for today, I covered the important terms from chapter 1. I did the PowerPoint presentation and I spoke to you about ERP systems again. I went through some vendors, and I also mentioned to you Moodle, right? The Moodle classroom, and I'd like you to access that. Now, what else I'd like to show you is the SAP Digital Hub. Let me take you to the SAP Digital Hub, Learning Hub, right? This is what I'd like you to go to, learninghub.sap.com. So there's another exercise that I'm giving it to you. I'd like you to go to learninghub.sap.com. Why am I telling you this? Because I mentioned SAP in my PowerPoint presentation. So I'd like you to access learninghub.sap.com. All right. Now I'd like to register somebody on here. Anybody would like me to use their credentials? Anyone? Hello. Oh, it says welcome back to me. All right. I need to log out. I need to log out. Let me just log out. Let's log out. Right, so I asked y'all to, last week I asked y'all to log into the IBM Academy. Today I'm asking you to log into SAP Learning Hub. Right, let's log in. Okay, let's go and register. I'm looking for a volunteer. Who can I register onto the SAP Learning Hub? Hello.
I can register if you want, sir.
Who?
Clinton.
Oh, Clinton, that you? Great. Right. Salutation. You are Mr. Your first name is Clinton. Last name?
Nair. Nair.
Nair. Email address?
21507490 at DUT for life.
At dutforlife.ac.za. Right? Ooh, would you mind giving us your phone number?
Sure.
All right. Let's go for South Africa. Okay, go ahead.
81 477 9268.
Right. Your password, you'll have to change your password, Clinton. Even last week's example that we used, please go and change your password, because I post the videos on YouTube, and a student may share the link, and if you follow the news, last week, Facebook, 500 million user accounts was hacked. So people's location and cell phone numbers and other private details were exposed. But I don't have anything private, so I'm okay, right? I don't know about you, if you are concerned about that. So Clinton, what can we give it as a password, Clinton?
You can put my name.
Clinton. Clinton 01. Okay, what's a capital letter as well? Let's put capital letter C, right?
And a symbol.
Clinton 01, right? Let's go and put that again. Clinton 01. Yes, you acknowledge I've read all the SAP privacy statements, and I'm going to register you. Thank you for registering with SAP Learning Portal. An email with a link to activate your account has been sent to 2150749 at DUT for life. I'm not going to. Right. So Clinton, you should receive an email shortly that says that you have been activated on the SAP Learning Hub portal. Clinton, have you received the email?
Not yet.
Okay.
Came through now, sir.
Great. So what does it state in that email?
Thank you for registering with SAP ID service. To activate your account for SAP Learning Hub portal, click the link below.
Great. Click the link, Clinton.
Done, sir.
Great. Now you'd be able to access the SAP Learning Portal. So if you notice in this course, I'm trying to make it as practical as possible. The course curriculum and the module descriptor says I need to talk about ERP systems. As I'm going through the course, I discovered that one of the vendors for an ERP system is SAP. I went onto the SAP website and I discovered that they would like to promote their system by offering training to you. And I've now asked you to activate that. So in terms of assessments, I'm going to ask you for proof that you've accessed the IBM Academy, that you've accessed the SAP Learning Hub, and I'm going to take you through to one more certification. Right? I'm going to take you through to one more certification because this course is labeled Information Technology. And I feel very strongly that every single student should know about IT and every single student should know about coding. Coding is another word for anybody? Coding, another word for programming. Hello? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is your first assessment that I'm going to take you, right? So Google has learning courses that are available to you, right? Google learning courses, Google digital skills. I am going to request from you that you need to have a Google certification in coding. And I'm going to give you a mark. Your first mark is going to be on the online course that you would complete in information technology. And the course that I'm looking for is on coding. Where is coding? Aha! Understand the basics of code. So you go to learndigital.withgoogle.com. Understand the basics of code. Clinton, how long will this course take you to do, Clinton?
It depends what kind of code they're doing, sir.
Yep. Tell me, look at the screen. How long is it?
Says 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So 2 hours total.
Yeah. Check there. 1 hour. Right. And how much is this course, Clinton?
It's free.
It's free. So you're going to be learning the introduction to coding, introduction to programming, the introduction to information technology. If it's going to take you 30 minutes, Clinton, say an hour, hour and a half max in between you having your lunch or tea, having a break, you don't have the internet working, all that goes with it. When should I expect the certification to be completed, Clinton?
Well, today is Tuesday, so most likely by the weekend at latest, I think.
It'll take you an hour.
I mean, we still have assignments and other learning to do as well. So some people
1 hour of your time. The course is called Information Technology. Okay, let's say Friday. Clinton?
Yeah.
Right. Let's start. I'll help you, right? So you need to log into this course with your credentials. All right, so I'm going to help you. So the topic overview, what is code and how does it work? An introduction to programming language, how code powers our daily life, working in code develops and everyday industries. Now, ERP system, the reason I'm taking you through to this course is an entity resource planning system or a computer software was designed, written in code, in some programming language. I don't know what the programming language could have been. It may have been C++, it may have been Python, Java, JavaScript, whatever. If this was a course on HTML and website design, then I would have spoken to you about what is hypertext markup language. All right. But this is just to give you an overview of what is IT. Okay, Clinton? And
Yes,
if I
sir.
make this an additional resource, you won't do it. If I don't assign a mark to it, you won't do it. So guess what I'm going to be doing, Clinton?
Giving a mark for it.
Yes. And you know what will happen at the end of it all after you finish the course, Clinton? You are actually going to get a little certification that you can include in your CV. Now, believe it or not, at DUT, I sit in on promotion meetings where from a junior lecturer, you go to a lecturer, from lecturer to senior lecturer, and so forth. Believe it or not, academic staff include in their CV or their portfolio of evidence certificate of attendance courses. And that's what I want to create within you guys, that you need to upskill and keep this portfolio of evidence. And this is one example that I'd like you to try out. So what is code and how does it work? Hopefully at the end of it all, you watch a lesson for 5 minutes, you check your knowledge for 2 minutes. Let's watch the lesson. And here's it playing. You can watch it on YouTube if you like, view the transcript. What is code? Basically, what is programming? That's what they're asking for. You watch the video and you check your knowledge, you click on it and you answer the questions out here. So it says Tracy is a photographer. She's thinking about creating a website to showcase some of her best work and is wondering how code is used in a website. Can you help her out? Now, Clinton, you'll ask yourself, why am I telling you all of this about coding and we're talking about this person called Tracy and she's doing it? Part of an ERP system is marketing. Today, your marketing strategy must ensure that you have an online presence. And one of the examples of an online presence is having a website. Last week, I think it was Mr. Kumalo that spoke about an online business and he wanted to sell computer hardware and computer software. And he said that he needs to have a courier business involved. So you need to answer this question. Drag and hold the best answer into the box. Clinton, is this easy enough?
Yes, it is.
It is, yes. Hopefully you'll come out with maybe a love for programming and you'll decide you want to go into forensic auditing and you want to go into the aspect of programming and cybersecurity, and you want to find out how hackers break into websites, and maybe you'll solve the problem for Facebook that had a breach of their security where 500 million Facebook users had their accounts hacked. 32 million users in the United States had their information hacked. Right? So you had their name, their cell phone number, their location. Okay, so this will be due by the end of the week. How's that, Clinton? And I need proof that you have completed the 1 hour online digital course in coding. Is that cool, Clinton?
How will they say show you proof, sir?
You'll get a certification at the end of the course.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? You can take a screenshot of it. And I will create a file request on Dropbox and you will post it in there.
Cool,
okay. So assessment number 1, I'd like you to go and learn about this concept of coding and why is it important to our course called Information Technology and how does it fit in with this concept of ERP. All right, I'll leave it at that for today. Homework, please log into the Moodle classroom. Please access the digital skills course And maybe you'll find another course that you like in this Google digital skills. Maybe you'd like to learn about, there's a course on interview skills, because you will be looking for a job very soon and you'll need to learn about interview skills. I found a course out there. You want to start your own business. You want to get your business online. Go and learn about it. You want to make sure you find customers online. You want to promote your business. You want to connect with customers over the on mobile. Understand your customer needs. Land your next job. This is something you may be interested in. Right. You can go and do all of that at your leisure, but I want an assessment for to give you a first assessment on coding. Right, digital skills. Any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Any questions? Any questions? Questions? I'll download the attendance list. Hello, Mr. Hadebe.
Hello.
How are you, Mr. Hadebe?
Fine.
Do you have a question for me, Mr. Hadebe?
Yes, please repeat the last part you said about the assessment.
The assessment, you'll need to go to the digital learning platform of Google. I spoke about the coding course that they have. It's only 1 hour of your time. You will learn about coding and how it affects the ERP course that you are learning. And the course that we are doing is called Information Technology, IT. And IT has to do with coding. Another word for coding is programming. I'd like you to understand that concept, and I don't have the time to go through programming or coding with you. I want you to do the course and to give me evidence thereof. All right? It's only 1 hour of your time. I'd like you to do that for me. All right, Mr. Hadebe? Is that clear, Mr. Hadebe?
Thank you. Yes.
Great.
Sir, I've got a question.
Yes.
Okay,
Is
it's not
that
exactly.
Mbele?
Yes, it's not exactly a question. I'm just summing up everything that you've said this far.
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
to go into the SAP Learning Hub, and we have to register there.
Yes.
We also have to get into the IBM Academy.
Yes.
You have IBM Academy. You pick any course you want. You're not really specific which course that you want us to.
Hold it. Right. Don't pick any course right now. I just want you all to learn how to gain access to online SAP and ERP courses, right? So there's IBM Academy and there's SAP Learning Hub, right?
Oh,
now,
okay.
Those are proprietary owned courses. When I say proprietary, SAP is a ERP vendor. Now, I want you to improve your skills and your certification set so that you can improve your chances of getting a job. We spoke about this last week. All right.
Yes.
So that's the aim of it. Now, I obviously cannot assess you on SAP or on the IBM software, right? Because that's proprietary owned. But what I can afford an assessment mark is for the Google Digital Literacy course, because right now I don't know whether you've accessed that course, yes or no, right? But I'd love it if you could, and you gain a certification in that, because then it becomes more meaningful, the course material that I'm going through with you, right? It's not simply theoretical theory, concepts. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of going over IBM Academy and SAP. All right,
Okay.
The learning happens. Next part of your question.
Okay, and then it's basically the Moodle. You have to access it. Oh yes, and then Web Trader. Web Trader. You said you must also log into the Web Trader website where you trade. That's also part of an assessment too.
Yes, I'd like y'all to play around with that right now. That will take you more than an hour, right? A web trade is not something that you can do, in an hour or two, because if you have to buy and sell shares, that you need like a good couple of months because of the way the market operates. But I'm just setting up the cognitive structures, if I could use that big word, with you. I've got 15 weeks of this course in the semester, and last week I gave you an introduction as to what we are doing. I've got about 9 chapters of theory that I need to cover, about 4 or 5 case studies, and one of the case study to make it interesting is Web Trader. By the way, if you want to learn about web trading, go onto YouTube. I'll take you there right now. And if you have some time, just YouTube, we go to Web Trader, Standard Bank Web Trader. Web Trader, there we go, Web Trader Standard Bank. And that was using the Standard Bank offshore Web Trader. There we go. There's Introduction to International Investing, Web Trader. So, right, so that's what I'd also like you to learn. Now, at the end of this semester, is that Ms. Hadebe it was, right? Or Mr. Hadebe, or Mbele, S. Mbele.
Yes,
I want
Mbele.
you to come out with, with a skill set. So the skill set would be, you did a course on information technology. You need to know what is information technology, what is coding, what is programming, what is an ERP system. You need to have said that you worked with the ERP system. Like I said, if we were face-to-face, I would have taken you to the lab and we would have done Oracle. You played around with Oracle and played around with SAP. So I want to make this course interesting. I want to make, give you a reason to get up and come to join the course. So that's why I'm doing all of these extra little bits. And I'm in the fortunate position that I can give you an assessment mark for that. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, it's 12 o'clock on the dot. I wasn't going to talk for so long. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll stop.